So I went to go see Out of the Furnace. It's directed and co-written by Scott Cooper, the man who brought us Crazy Heart back in 2009, and it has a fantastic extended cast, with folks like Willem Dafoe, Forrest Whitaker, and Zoe Saldana, but we're pretty much focusing on three folks for this movie. The Baze brothers, played by Christian Bale and Casey Affleck, and the villain of the piece, Harlan DeGroat, played by Woody Harrelson. Now there's some fantastic performances here. It's really the strong point. And there's the rest of the movie, though, which has some issues. So there's only a couple problems. That's not that bad, right? And heck, one of the problems, not even the film's fault. It's the trailers. And so after a certain point, that won't really be an issue, will it? But just for the record, the trailers promoted a film that looked like a revenge-based action drama, possibly a thriller. It looked like it might be a little slow-paced, but that was the general thrust of the trailers. The film that I just saw was slow-paced, so the trailers got that, but it was very slowly paced character study. And about halfway in, the hour point, maybe a little bit later, they sort of threw in a revenge story, but it was still a slowly paced character study. And in spite of some interesting things happening and interesting characters, slowly paced character study. Fantastically acted slowly paced character study, but that was the thing. And unfortunately that's a little dull if not done well. And of course that brings us to the actual problem with the movie. It's dull. It's really dull, almost to the point of being boring. And when you look at the surface of the film, it shouldn't be. I mean, there's really interesting characters. I mean, there's Willem Dafoe in this. There's Woody Harrelson doing this really neat villain. But in spite of those characters, in spite of the fight scenes, in spite of the murder and the revenge plot at the end, the film is really at its heart a character study of a average blue-collar nice guy who just gets further and further down on his luck. Nothing really, he doesn't do anything. Everything just kind of happens to him and around him. He's just so passive and kind of, sits on the porch eating food and fixes up the house, and he's just a dull character up until the point where he hits rock bottom and goes on the revenge kick at the end, and even that isn't really handled very interestingly. It's still a very kind of slow, passive revenge kind of thing. It's just dull, and if it weren't for the quality of the performances in this movie, it wouldn't be worth watching in the slightest. Of course, the performances are there, and they really end up being this film's saving grace, because everyone involved brings their A-game. In particular, three people. There's Forrest Whitaker. Now, he has this very bland, ordinary police chief, but he manages to instill these kind of normal, everyday lines with a really distinct character. He does a very good job, and it's worth kudos there. And then there's Woody Harrelson. His backcountry hick Appalachian sort of crime boss character, a lot of fun to watch. He ends up being criminally underused in this movie, especially for being the first person that we're introduced to in the film. I really wish I'd seen more of him, kind of gone more into his character a little bit. Unfortunately, I'll take what I can get, because a lot of fun there. Most importantly, though, Christian Bale, he does an amazing job in this movie. I mean, I already said it's a very passive, kind of dull character, but he manages to make it interesting to watch for almost 2 hours. It's a wonderful feat. Almost worth watching for his role alone, for his performance alone. It's really impressive. Of course, good performances alone do not make a movie worth watching. I mean, yeah, it's well acted, yeah, it's even well shot, but it's still a very slow movie about a very dull character. And that's not really something that I can encourage people to go out and see, like, right away. Now, if you're someone who really, really likes going to movies for the performances, if that's your thing, if you like seeing good performances from actors, you might want to look into to seeing this film. It's, as I said, fantastic performances. But if you're someone who doesn't enjoy very slow movies, if you're someone who likes a lot of things to happen in your movie, this isn't really for you. For everyone else, if you like character studies, if you like just okay movies, look into seeing this at some point. Maybe not in the theaters, but rent it, watch it at some point. It is a good movie. It's just not for everyone. It's very definitely not for everyone. So if you see this and you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know why. I like seeing about these things. But until next time, folks, enjoy film.